The world of electric cars is full of jargon, but one you might want to get your head around is pounds per mile of range, and that basically means how far it can go versus the cost of the car on one single charge. With the new Kia EV3, Kia reckons it has a world beater on its hands. But has it? Let's take it for a ride and find out.
The Kia EV3 slots in between the Soul EV and the Niro EV in terms of size, but comes from the same family as the larger EV6 and EV9 and shares the same underpinnings, which are dedicated to electric power only. That means it shares the same styling cues as well, with flat surfaces and futuristic angular shapes. Active air flaps, a flat underbody and a boat tail shape help with aerodynamic efficiency. The battery sits in a flat pack under the floor with two sizes available. The smallest, with an energy capacity of 58.3 kilowatt hours, promises an official range of 270 miles per charge, but that's only available on the Air trim level. A long-range battery, packing 81.4 kilowatt hours, can be had with all three trim levels and offers up to 375 miles of range over a mix of roads. As ever, take these ranges with a pinch of salt. In the real world, it'll be higher or lower, depending on things like exterior temperatures and how heavy your right foot is. With the EV3 Air long range costing just £3,000 more than the £32,995 of the same car with a smaller battery, we reckon very few people will bother with the 270-mile EV3. The dashboard has a single housing for the usual digital driver instrument display and the central touchscreen, as well as a 5-inch air conditioning panel. There are 5 seats and a pretty big boot for its class at 460 litres. There's also an additional 25-litre storage space under the bonnet, a feature I refuse to refer to as a frunk, because it's an awful, awful word.
The cabin of this EV3 isn't the most exciting place to be, but it is pretty functional, useful, quite modern, futuristic in a way. There is quite a lot of physical switchgear, which is good. On some other electric cars, I'm not mentioning any names, Volkswagen Group, your thumbs and your palms can brush these haptic buttons on the steering wheel. There's none of that with the Kia EV3. It's all physical buttons, and there are quite a lot of them for the volume control, the driving aids and so on, of which there are quite a few, it has to be said. So when you get in the car and turn it on, you will have lane keeping assist turned on, you will have driver attention monitoring switched on, but you can turn all this stuff off. It's also very easy to set up Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, whatever your preference. It's wireless, and all you do is connect the Bluetooth and you're away. It's nice and clear, the indication of miles left per charge. It's currently saying I've got 86% battery left and 259 miles. So that's quite a significant amount of miles. It's only been getting 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, which isn't anything to write home about, but I would say it's about 6 degrees outside today, so it is cold. And so this is a car that is really versatile. It's good for local trips, but it's also got plenty of range for those longer journeys. In terms of performance and handling, depending on the version you get, it'll do 7.7 or 7.9 seconds to 62 miles an hour, which isn't especially quick, but that used to be considered very quick, but in modern electric car terms, not lightning quick. I tell you what though, it is plenty fast enough. And out of junction, it pulls very well. And on a slightly damp road like I've got today, you will feel the wheels slipping a bit and the car just working out whether to limit the power going to the wheels to improve traction. So it's entry level, but I have to say there's quite a lot of creature comforts in here. I mean, the materials used are, some of it's a bit plasticky and hard plastic, but actually the textures built in are quite interesting, and there are plenty of features. So there's a heated steering wheel in the Air model. There's heated seats with 3 different levels of heat and dual zone climate control. What it doesn't have is a charging pad for your phone. The seats too are really comfortable in this version of the car. They're cloth, recycled fabrics, and they just sort of cup your back in a really nice, pleasant way, hold you in. I'm really tall as well. I've got loads of headroom there, plenty of room for my legs as well. I'm very comfortable in this car, it has to be said. The handling, well, it's not terribly exciting, but it does go around corners pretty neatly. It's got a little bit of feedback. You can feel actually the road surface through the steering wheel. It's not disconnected at all. You feel like you are connected to the road through the steering wheel. But that said, the suspension isn't overly stiff at all. It's actually very good. Even on a country lane with plenty of potholes, this car glides over it and irons out the road pretty well, actually. I've been very impressed. That said, when you're going around corners, there is a bit of roll to the car, but this isn't a sports car, so I'm going to forgive it that. It's actually, as an all-round package, really nice to sit in and to drive. Other good things, well, you've got nice visibility to the side, large wing mirrors. In terms of practicality, the door bins, actually there's a space for a large bottle there. It's a bit scratchy in this Air model, so if you've got a pen it might rattle around. There's space in this sort of floating lip there, and then underneath a small cubby hole as well underneath the armrest. A large area here to put bags or whatever you need to put there. A couple of cup holders that can be swiveled around to remove the cup holder bit, and you've got extra space for larger bags. As I say, I feel comfortable up front, but I think it's time if I pull over to see if I can fit in the back as well. In theory, this car has quite a lot of room in the back, because although it's a compact shape, the wheels are as far apart as they are on the Sportage, a larger car, so that frees up some extra room inside. And if you look, the rear door is quite long. Let's sit inside. Now, this passenger seat is in a similar position to my driving seat, and I'm 6'5", so very tall. I can just about get my knees behind here. I'm a bit short on headroom, but if you're a normal size, not a complete freak like me, there's actually pretty much a good amount of space in here. There's other things like USB charging ports in the back of both of these seats. And then let's take a look at the boot. Parcel shelf here, which folds away. Flat floor into the boot, quite a wide opening. It's not very deep, not very tall. Then under here, there is a lot of space here, and there's room for charging cables and so on. So this false floor comes away, and there's no spare tyre in there, no spare wheel, but that frees up a lot of room. Kia EV3 doesn't do much to change the perception that electric cars are expensive. At £33,000 and upwards, it's not exactly what you could call cheap, but versus the competition, actually starts to look like really good value for money. And when you go for a £36,000 car with a large battery and 375 miles of range, it starts to look pretty incredible. And more importantly, Kia EV3 is just a bloody good car. Really practical, really nice to drive, grown up, sensible, but on a pounds per mile of range basis, it really is what Kia says, very, very competitive.